Hi friends, and welcome to my 7th video in my Get Started Stamping series. Today I want to share with you what products I do not suggest you cut costs on when you are getting started stamping. Now, I know that getting into card making can be expensive. I already made a video with lots of recommendations for how to get started without spending thousands of dollars on supplies, because you can get started for not very much money if you are strategic about how you do it. So make sure you check out that video. There's a link in the video description below if you want to take a look at it. But in this video, I want to talk about the things I do not suggest that you cut costs on. When you're getting into card making, there's a good chance you're going to be using some of these supplies for years to come, maybe decades to come. I am officially 1 decade into my card making business, and I'm going to share with you some products right here that have been with me for 10 years. I have used them faithfully, used them a lot, and they're still doing great because I had good products to start with. But I will also share some stories of products that were not good to start with, and maybe you can avoid making the same mistake I did. So let's talk about the products I do not suggest that you cut costs on. And let's get started with this. Ink pads. I really suggest that you find good ink pads that you love that are refillable, and you can get the ink refills in the correct colors. So I use Stampin' Up! Ink pads. I love them for a lot of reasons. They're big, they're well marked with the colors, even when they're open and on my stamping table, so I don't get my colors mixed up because I can see what color it is. But one of the things I love the most about them is they are refillable. So when I use up all that ink for my favorite color, I don't have to throw my ink pad away. I can just purchase an ink refill for a few dollars and refill it. And I actually suggest getting the refills when you buy your stamping pads. That way, if a color does get discontinued at some point, which doesn't happen a lot, but if it does, you have that ink refill already on hand. Second recommendation for what not to cut costs on is punches. Now, these are some of those products. I have had these in my collection for 10 years. This has been a business for me for 10 years. For a long time, I did classes. I did a lot of classes where I had a lot of people coming and using my supplies, such as my paper punches. These work as well as they did when they were brand new, because they are good punches, okay? I'll have links to all of these products in the video description below, and where you can shop for other similar products to these below in the video description if you want to take a look. But these are great punches. I love that they store flat. They pop up. I can open them when I want to use them. They store flat, don't take up a lot of space when they're in storage. And quick tip, if your punches get dull or they're not working very well, you can sharpen them by punching through either several layers of aluminum foil, or you know those foil disposable baking pans, that like real thick aluminum foil. You can punch through those. It will sharpen them up. And if they need a little lubrication, punch through wax paper a few times. They'll be as good as new. So that's my second recommendation for what not to cut costs on. Number 3, your die cutting and embossing machine. Now, this is my mini machine. I grabbed it just because it's easier to hold up and to share with you than my large one, which is behind me. But I highly suggest you do some research and find a good machine. And also, something you may not think of at the beginning, you may not think of until something goes wrong, is how long of a warranty, what kind of a warranty does my machine have? Does it have one? And if so, how long? So I broke my big machine behind me, my old one, after I had had it for several years. And I figured I was out of luck. I figured I was going to have to buy a new one. Come to find out, this machine comes with a 3-year warranty. And they sent me a new one. I sent the broken one back. Pretty much no questions asked. It was amazing. So don't cut costs on your die cutting and embossing machine, because some of them work better than others for sure. I'm really happy with this one I have right now. Number 3 is paper. So here's something that has been in my collection a lot longer than 10 years, actually. I had a brief card making hobby long ago, and then I put it down for a while and didn't pick it back up till about 10 years ago. But these, I dug these out of the archives. These are the first card bases and envelopes I ever ordered right here. Are you wondering, like, Anna, why do you have those? Why didn't you use those? Oh, there are more where these came from, friends. I found this website. I was like, oh, they have really good prices on stuff. I'm going to order some stamps. I'm going to order some ink and my card bases and all these things. Well, the products I got were very poor quality. It made it frustrating. They didn't work very well. These card bases, I don't know if you will be able to appreciate how poor of quality these card bases are, but I will attempt to show you in this video. So here is one of them. So I don't know if you can see how flimsy this is, how poor of quality this is. I'm going to try and fold this. It is really not, and I didn't fold it on the score line, but anyway, it's really poor quality. I'll hold up this compared to some Stampin' Up! Cardstock that I normally use. Can you see the quality difference here? So the reason these are still here is because sometimes I have a hard time parting ways with things, but I'm never going to use them. So really, I just need to take them and donate them to the thrift store. So paper, my friends, get decent quality paper. When we put our time into making a card for someone, a lot of times they're probably going to display it. They may sit it on their kitchen counter or a desk or a bookshelf, somewhere they can see it on a regular basis. And with this type of cards, you know what happens to them? They sit there for a day and then they sag and they go like this and they fall down and they won't display properly. So decent quality paper is a good investment. Next, don't cut costs on your scissors, okay? You can use scissors you have at home for a while, but at some point you're going to want a good pair of scissors. These scissors, I mean, they're not really expensive. It's not like they're a huge investment, but they're a good cost and they are awesome. They do an amazing job of cutting ribbon. If you fight with cutting ribbon and it doesn't want to hold still and your scissors just aren't sharp enough, these things are awesome. They're also great at getting into the little tiny tight spaces, cutting really sharp edges if you fussy cut around things. Good scissors are a good investment. And last but not least, your paper trimmer. I've said this several times in this series, there are a lot of bad paper trimmers on the market. It's a true story. I've heard so many paper trimmer stories from so many of you because there are a lot of bad ones out there. And buying the cheapest one you can get probably is not the best idea. Sometimes you can't find replacement blades. That's something you definitely want to make sure you can buy replacement blades. I am amazed at how many trimmers, just from hearing your stories, that it's hard to line them up to even cut the paper straight. Sometimes they tear your paper, they do all kinds of things. So a good trimmer is something you definitely want in your collection, not one of those bad ones. So as you're purchasing things, as you're adding things to your collection, maybe you have purchased a bad die cutting machine or a bad trimmer and you're looking for a replacement, you may want to use the links below to shop if you're interested. I don't always say this in my videos, but I want to thank those of you who shop with me. I really appreciate those of you who order your products through me. You will receive a thank you handmade by me in the mail at the beginning of the month following when you shop with me. And I have a rewards program and some other fun things too that you can take advantage of. At the end of my videos, we talk about life, so here we are, and I try to offer something encouraging to you. Today, what I want to tell you, friends, is something that I feel very blessed that I grew up hearing. I grew up and this filled my mind, and it still lives in my mind. But I know some of you did not grow up hearing this. So if you've never heard it before, friend, I want you to know that you can do anything. You can do anything that you put your mind to. I feel so very lucky that I grew up hearing this on a regular basis, and I believed it. I believed it because I was told that, and I believed it because I experienced it in my life. There were things that I really wanted to achieve in 4-H and school and activities that I was in, and I worked really hard for them. Now, I didn't always. I still am a little bit heartbroken. I didn't qualify to compete in the state track meet for discus. I worked so hard at discus. So I didn't achieve everything I ever wanted to, but I saw in my life that when I really wanted something and I really worked for it, that I could achieve it. But I know in other homes and other situations, other families, different things are spoken and different things come to live in the minds of kids who grow up in different situations. So friends, I want you to know today, you can do anything. And I believe that. And when you believe that, then that's when it actually comes true, right? Thanks so much for being here. I appreciate you. I hope you have a blessed day. And I hope you'll be back again next time when I'll be here helping you to hand make with love.